Well, in this video we're going to compare the three different warp windings that we did. The first winding we just used thread to space out the different colors and keep the colors in order. And we didn't, as you can see, we didn't chain it or do anything else. The second one we put choke ties and we chained it. And then the third we put a cross in, as well as lease and choke ties and chaining it. So for the first comparison, we'll undo this and see how tangled this is, and it's not too bad right now. It's a full 11 yards, and it's scary to look at as warp because you would think it would get tangled, but we have, and it looks like there might be a little bit, but right now it's not too bad. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. It's tangled near the end. Okay. So I spread out the 11 yard warp that did not get chained, and I don't think I'll do that again. Now as for the choke ties and the um, cross, we'll see when we start warping how effective it is in preventing tangles and how easy it is to thread through. It's not looking promising for threading through the heddles, but we'll see. So I spent a few minutes combing this mess with the regular hair comb, and I'm going to start in the middle. I have three chains. I chained this one because it was scary to think of the cats getting at 11 yards of this without a chain. So I chained this one anyway, but it had been stored without a chain, and you can see it did get tangled a little bit, and without a choke tie it got tangled. So I'm going to start, instead of counting off to the side and then starting, I'm going to start in the middle. There, that way I don't have to do the counting. I know these black stripes here are the center of the pattern, and there will be another pattern on each side of this. So I've separated the four black threads in the middle from the other threads, and I'm starting with the middle. I know this is the middle right here, so I'm starting right here with the middle heddle, and then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 through there. So I get the next one, then I'll thread it through, and then later I'll, if the cats don't cause any problems, I'll put it through the reed and tie it off. So after about 9 threads going through the heddle, I took a look at the other side because it occurred to me the cats will probably like the dangling yarn, and I'm afraid of it getting tangled, so I'm going to change my plan. I usually go front to back. This time I'm doing back to front. So I'm going to change my plan, and I'm going to start threading it through the heddle, or through the reed too, and tying it off. 12 dent reed, we're going to do 2 threads per dent, and that'll come up to about 24 threads per inch. So we'll get back to the first black thread. And this is the disadvantage of starting in the middle. You have to find the middle of the dent. First winding, the first chain of warp is now threaded and pulled through the reed and heddles. And this side looks okay, but the other side, I would say that was a failure in preventing tangles. I could still work with this, but it's going to require extra care and a comb trying to deal with this. So using only the thread as a spacer to count the color changes and the threads, that wasn't enough in our case. The rest of the chain is underneath and away from the cats and the stool. We have a stool, but yeah, this is the first experiment and doesn't look good, but we could still work with it like that. So this is a pretty bad tangle that I got myself into, and I think that having choke ties will really alleviate some of the issues. I didn't know about choke ties when I did the first one, but I'm just spreading everything out and trying to separate them into colors. Can't even use the comb at this point because that would just tighten the knot that's down here. Okay, so I've partially gotten rid of a lot of the tangles. There's still some tangles here, and they'll have to be brushed back with the comb as I warp it. I was able to get all those out, but I did comb over here. What we're going to do to try to reduce more tangling is to put some thread some ties in like we had before, but this time it'll be of a different color because having it the same color makes it harder to see, of course. But we'll use red thread, weave it in and out of a couple times in here, and then we'll use some choke ties and to keep it from getting more tangled up here, and then the rest of it we'll put it inside the stool with the rest of the chain, and hopefully that will be okay and safe for the cats.